So let's go ahead and get to it. We have a lot to talk about. First, a little bit of business. Number one, everything that I'm talking about here is for entertainment purposes only, and all events and people are all alleged, so we're just going to put that out. I'm also going to begin to start talking in code a lot more. I would appreciate if you also did that in the comments. Since I am primarily posting right now on YouTube and directing traffic from my other sites to this place, welcome to my double T audience coming over from the big fiasco that we've gone through over there, and also welcome from the Substack audience who's just getting a glimpse of my videos and coming over from there. I really appreciate all of you being here. The YouTube audience is very warm, very endearing, and so this is a pretty good community to have our set up camp at for the time being until we see how things are going to fall out. As far as the Double T platform is concerned, I do not feel like that is a very safe space to be interacting right now. I will be monitoring it. I will be posting short notices. If I am putting up longer videos, I will post short notices there to let you guys know what's going on. But the next 10 days, I really feel like, especially the next 4 days, but especially the next 10 days, we need to be very careful in monitoring what we're posting, how we're interacting, and how that fallout is happening right now. Do I feel like it's going to be long term? No, I do not. As far as specific days, I don't know. We're going to find out how all of that unfolds. But I do feel like this is a short-term thing for us. And that said, the first thing Spirit Team wants me to lead with is this really huge news about we are on a new timeline now, people. We are on a new timeline. Now, I know for a lot of you listening, you're like, Dana, we want to know what's going on with certain events and what's going to happen in dates and times. And this is where I'm going to go. We're going to clock out the intuitive evidence that is beginning to line up and give more intuitive evidence. So we're just going to have to take it a step at a time. That's how this works, okay? And the first part of this is to show you how important this new timeline is and how much evidence has come in with this new timeline. The first piece of evidence I want to show to you has to do with my forecasting, okay? So this sheet of paper, I want you to look at Monday. When is our first new timeline jump for this week? It starts on Monday, and it goes for how many days? It goes for 4 days. And how many energy gateways are along with it? It's running a six-day run. If we were doing low vibrational events, timeline jumps and gateway shifts would not be showing up on the calendar. So what you need to know is over the weekend, and Aaron Brown reported on this with Schumann's as well, that gateway that showed up on the Schumann's, we didn't just do a timeline jump. According to Spirit Team, we did a timeline split. It was a rip-stopping, rip-opening split. It was like, as far as I could tell from what I was picking up energetically, it was all, I don't want to say it was violent, but it was just abrupt and sudden, and it really just kind of like cracked things open. So, and this rolls into some other information here. In all my years of being on path, and in all of the energy experiences I've gone through, and even in the last 2 years of the very intense spiritual boot camp that Spirit Team has continued to put me through, I have never, ever, ever experienced severe psychic attacks going on collectively at the same time that really deep cellular code energy releases, even at the level of psychic surgery, were going on simultaneously at the same time that we did this very intense, powerful, abrupt timeline split. 3 major powerful energetic things we were doing, and a conjunct was happening all at the same time. Folks, that never, ever, ever happens. It was a pivotal weekend into a huge Monday, and I saw in the comments a lot of people saying all of the physical things that they were going through. It's like, no wonder. And what I want to line up for you is That's evidence. That's energy evidence. That's emotional evidence. That's physical evidence of the really deep changes that we were doing in preparation for the new time, the new timeline. And so I would say the events of today kind of like display that, but don't display that. And you're probably going like, what are you talking about, Dana? Well, we are dealing right now in this eclipse tunnel. We are dealing right now with severe dark and severe light. I mean, eclipses are about blinking out, blinking back on. It's all about the light and the dark. And what are we doing in our pathways right now? We're having to choose between really intense natures of great light, great power, this whole new path that we want to be on, and also doing that in the face of the darkest shadow, right? So all of this is not an accident. And we did kind of get told that it was going to be messy and that we wouldn't know what was going on at some point. And we are walking in that space now. We are walking in that no man's land space of like having taken off into the space of deep commitment of knowing what we know of a new timeline and a new hope of a Blue Lotus in March landing. Like we're in that space, right? And it's so much larger than that. But at the same time, we're having to do that and live this in the face of some really scary, deep darkness. And as of this morning, there's a sense of we've stepped off into the abyss. We don't know what's happening. We have an idea, maybe. There is some abandonment, like the leadership that was there is like now gone silent. And this is that nature of the darkest dark before the greatest light, people. And we're walking in the mess. We are like, could this not be more of a mess? And it's going to continue to be a mess. So I just want you to know that we're all in the right time and right space for all of this happening. In my shadow work with my coach, with the shamanism and the soul retrieval and the deep cellular code space, this spot right here of the no man's land, this is where the exorcism happens. And it's dark and you don't know what's going on and you don't know how it's going to align, but you know you need to be there and you've taken the leap off in the space and you're breathing pretty hard about it. And you know it's all going to land somewhere, but you haven't found that solid footing yet. So what I'm going to say to you is this is all part of the process. So this is the place where Spirit Team wants me to visit with you about intuition and faith as a practice, not as a destination, because I am seeing a lot of people processing and having their own experiences in their own way in the comment field, and some people are, leaning into accusations towards me and other psychics, and some people are like, I'm so done and over with this. I'm out, Dana, and oh Dana, I'm having the hardest time, but I'm hanging in there. And other people are like, yeah, I hit a rock bottom, but I'm back in a good place again. Or oh, I'm so calm. Like everybody's having their own experiences with this, and I want to honor that. And what I want to mention here is that if you are looking for your intuition or your faith as a destination-based experience, I think you might find yourself pretty disappointed. But if you are working with your intuition and your faith as an interactive communication practice with the universe, with the space of the unknown, then we've got something to talk about and work with. And that's where I want to show you where some things are beginning to line up. And this goes back to really deep thanks to some of my audience members who are coming back around and saying, Dana, that thing you said about and then bam, they've got him, or, they self-sabotage and line themselves up and self-implicate. Like, we've not seen that once or twice. We've seen that multiple times, but we really saw it the Sunday night. Like, and there are certain clips of a certain person saying certain things about, hey, this is how I got the treasure. And we're like, there, evidence right there. So that piece of intuitive foresighting that Spirit Team gave to us, that's now landing. That's now coming true. So click, click, something's coming together. So that's where an intuition previously or messaging or data that happened a while ago is now coming into fruition. So we have all this psychic evidence of all this big energy thing that happened over the weekend, and now we're having some pieces of the puzzle begin to land. Consider that the universe communicating to us through that veil of the unseen, okay? Here's another piece of the action of the unseen world communicating with us concerning faith and intuition. Yesterday, the song that was playing, thank you for everybody who helped me out, was Imagine Dragons' Radioactive. So, and that was talking about welcome to the new age, Well, that song has continued to play for me all through today. That is continuing to play. So we're on that new age, and I think that's the nod to the new timeline. A new song started playing last night called Hey, What's Going On? And it's a Laura Stevens song from the 1990s. It's a pop song. Go listen to it, because guess what we're all doing today? We're all doing, hey, what's going on? So that's a little bit of like funny, ha-ha, dark spirit humor there going, hey, we knew you guys would do that, so here's the song, hey, what's going on? So they're communicating with us. They're telling us stuff. All right, so here's the next one that is a little bit difficult, and that is, remember the messaging that I gave a little while back about how we would go 4 days with no leadership? Spirit Team wants to confirm that we are in that space now. So I thought when they said we would go 4 days with no leadership, that would mean 4 days with no one in the big WH. The spirit world is confirming that what that actually means is going 4 days without any real leadership. And I think you have to look at the context of what we mean by true leadership. Spirit Team wants to confirm that is now happening now. 4 days with no real leadership. Well, that should give us information that there's a bookend here. So that Spirit Team saying, okay, here's the beginning of that, and here's the bookend on it. So that is interesting data. See, unseen world is communicating with us with intuition and faith. So see how we need to be treating this more as an unfolding practice rather than an end stage destination, okay? Then the other piece of information and data I want to show to you is actually something that Team Blue has been doing that oh my God, it just really stood out to me at the big event this morning. It was when Amy Klobuchar got up and gave her speech. And what did she say? She said the thing about upholding the Constitution. And also she said the thing about peaceful transfer of power. How many times have we been hearing this over and over again from Biden? Upholding the Constitution, peaceful transfer of power. We've heard it, we've heard it from Kamala quite a bit. And there was Amy doing it again. Constitution, peaceful transfer of power. And then she said that thing about this being the people's house. She made a very clear indicator of this being the people's house. And so I found that to be really important repeated evidence that's been shown to us over and over and over again. And we need to believe that. We need to believe what they were telling us because I believe that is a message that they are sending through to us. Now, here's some other interesting evidence from the event that happened this morning as well. Kamala Harris, that was looking kind of chipper. So if you're somebody that had what happened to her, and you're at the event confirming the other person, would you have that kind of look on your face? So I found that to be very interesting and also very telling. Oh, and the telltale sign of no hand on the Bible. I mean, come on. Okay, and now we're going to drop some pretty solid lines here, and I'm going to bring us all the way back to last summer. I'm going to bring us back all the way to that first video I did about what the psychics saw, the video I did that got over 300,000 views, and everybody was like, oh my God, she's saying, she's saying what we're all feeling and thinking. And this goes way back to the summertime when all the psychics and some of the astrologers, we were all talking about, chattering on social media about like, yeah, we're looking out on the horizon and it really doesn't look like an election happens. And isn't that interesting? And then we get to the big E day and we have the contest and that all happens and we all think it happens. But really, we really didn't have a true blue contest day. Okay. Now, what I find really interesting is that as I was energetically reading through my calendar for this week and plotting out, the energies and the different types that I was picking up on, when I got to Monday, Spirit team said, there's no inauguration, Dana. There's no inauguration. But then I was like, but guys, we just went through this whole thing this morning. And they're like, it was kind of like them asking in energy space this rhetorical question. It was like, how can you have a swearing in when the contest, wasn't really that real in the first place? And so we have to begin to, I have to throw out the fun, playful, entertainment purposes only question and idea of how legal was the swearing in of the wording that we saw happen today? How legal is that? So we kind of have to throw that question out there in the air, because if there's a due process happening with some certain people behind the scenes that maybe we know about, maybe we don't know about, maybe that's like the whole deal of, I can't even say the words here, but you can fill in the blanks. You're gonna have to fill in the blanks there and kind of go, oh, well, if that didn't happen, then is this really legal? And how does that play into this whole series of legal potential things happening behind the scenes? And I can hear Spirit teams say, give it 4 days, give it 4 days. So one of the things Spirit team wants me to tell you is, if this was about just one person, this would have been a done deal a long time ago. We wouldn't be living through this. But this isn't about just one person. This is about an entire system. And they wanted me to use the word dragnet. The reason this is getting so long and so drawn out is because this is a global, yes, it's the United States and it's national here. It's centered and happening here. But this is there's the energy coming through from Spirit team. This is a global dragnet, people. So would you prefer to live through the angst that we're living through now and have it fully taken care of? Or would you prefer to live through this every single election from here on out? Because from what I can tell is, if we get one person, that's the tip of the iceberg. But if there is a dragnet operation going on, we're going to get down to the root and the core of this. And Spirit, this is some of the tough part of the messaging, and that is, once this and I've said it before, and they're saying it really strongly now, once this begins to happen and the legal unraveling begins to happen, we're going to see some unimaginable things go on. And it's probably going to get really messy. It's probably going to get messy and upsetting, and there's going to be things going on that cause us to continue to have uncertainty, the unknown, the discomfort. And I'm not saying that to you to be more fearful about this. I'm saying that to you as we stepped off into the place of doing this ride. And so now we're going to do the ride. Now, Spirit team wants me to get back to the calendar a little bit. And if you recall, they indicated that there was a solid wave of activity that happened. And I believe that's what happened with the TikTok thing and the swearing in thing. Like, that was our first wave. Now we're going to go through the lull. Remember, I did this energetically. I read this with you guys last week. We're going to do big activities, TikTok, swearing in, then we go through a lull, and then stuff begins to happen again. Do I know what stuff? No, I don't. Spirit team won't let me see it. They've got it darkened out, but all I know is that there's things going on. There's going to be activity. So it's like, just as we begin to kind of let off our guard, remember I said that, we let off our guard, then the next round happens. Spirit team is basically saying that by the end of this week, we're going to see stuff. What we're going to see, I don't know, but we need to be prepared. Now, the arguments that I have been having with them, and believe me, I have been arguing on my behalf and your behalf to know more information. And basically their response to us is, we are so sorry that you have to live through this, but this is part of the spiritual choice making, the spiritual awakening, the spiritual growth, the new path that all of you are committed to being on. And these are the steps that you're moving through. And they have a great deal of compassion for us and concern for us. But this is all part of the process into the new space. And for the people who say, but Dana, isn't that like spiritual torture? Isn't this like a toxic relationship? And I could not agree with you more. And the things that I have gone through the last couple of years, I actually got to that point quite a few times of, I like would walk around the house joking, saying like, great, I'm in a dysfunctional, toxic relationship with my spirit team. And now we're doing it on a national level and people are saying that to me. And so like, I totally get it, people. I totally get it. And what I can tell to you with the path that I've walked and gone through, I have physically lived through that sensation into the better space. We literally are getting stretched and shaped and cracked and morphed into that new timeline. And it can feel uncomfortable. And so I have compassion and empathy for you. And all I'm going to say is keep walking, keep putting one foot in front of the other so that the miracles can meet us. Okay, so Spirit Team is wanting me to mention to you safety precautions. Safety precautions along the lines of your location. And so if you are feeling like you are not safe in your location and you need to go, that might be something good to listen to. If you feel like you're fine where you're at, then you need to stay. But there is something going on over the next couple of days about safety issues and being very situationally aware of your surroundings and knowing where you need to be at certain times. Now, I know there's going to be people coming into my comments going, what about me? And could you be more specific? And la, 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 la. And what I will say to you is, this is where your practice is important. This is where you're tuning into your own core, grounding, breathing, centering, tuning in with your own team, asking them, discerning with them, is this an important message for me to listen to in the first place? And if it is, what do I need to be discerning here? What do I need to do to be picking up on this? This is where you need to be doing your own work. When all of us psychics were saying, get ready, this is what we meant by that. Grounding, breathing, centering, doing your own intuition, for your own situation on the ground. When I talk about that thing about Wi-Fi, turning off the Wi-Fi or being aware of the Wi-Fi, it's all very individually based. You need to tune into, like, is that important for you or not? And if it is, when would the Wi-Fi be on? When would it be off? Everybody's different in every situation. And I think this is where I need to tell you, like, as we kind of begin to let our guard down and go, okay, this all happened. Please stay situationally aware. Like, there is some part of you that I am asking you, keep your radar up. We're not out of the woods. Not by a long shot. Keep that radar up. Pay attention to what's going on, because we have a whole other wave of activity to go through. And we're not done yet. I have also started asking my spirit team, when do I get to celebrate? Like, this has been so hard for so long, and not only for me, but for so many people. When do we actually get to celebrate? Because I don't know about you, but I felt extremely robbed of a celebration that I wanted to have on November the 6th. One more time, we got robbed of something, and I'm really feeling that sense of like, when do I get to celebrate? And Spirit Team said there's going to be a little kind of like 1-2 of information tomorrow that we may or may not see happen tomorrow, and they're saying there's a bit of a cause for celebration on Tuesday, but do not let your guard down. And like I said in that in some of those readings last week, it is not until January 26th and the 28th until we begin to hit solid ground again. So we've got to keep the faith, keep doing the walk, and make sure you are using your intuition and your faith as a practice of unfolding and communicating with that unseen world into those next steps and beginning to connect up the information that we already received as it's happening, confirming that as it's landing into place, which it is. It's beginning to land into place. And we need to continue with that intuitive, faith-based communication for the unfolding with the other side of the veil, with the unseen world, so we can move through into that new timeline that we are already on, folks. We are on that new timeline. I want you spending the rest of the week, no matter what is happening, the craziness happening in front of us, I want you tuned in on that new timeline. That's what Spirit Team has me doing as well. So that's what I've got for you for now. I will be back for more when Spirit Team gives me that indicator. We're going to walk through this. Keep doing the best that you can with what you have to work with. We are going to make it through. Okay? See you in the next video.